Batista is without a doubt one of the biggest stars of the 2000s. When you look back at the characters that were during the Ruthless Aggression era, you can't help but admire how good he truly was. The silent assassin that broke away from evolution and never became corny. His entire career, he was a cold-blooded killer. Doesn't matter if he was 35 or 45, Batista was something straight out of a superhero movie, and he was tailor-made for the WWE. The way he walked, the way he talked, the way he dressed, no one did it like Batista. He was the uncle that I always wanted. The chill dude who you could just sit down with, have a drink with, talk some sports, go scope out some chicks, or talk about the newest line of Jordans. Just the most naturally cool, calm, and collected person, and one that so many of us will always have a soft spot for. No matter how old we get, we'll always love Batista. Whether it's for the entrance, for the storylines, or for the memes, Batista is without a doubt one of the GOATs of this industry. So let's go back and take a look at the animal that was Batista. In wrestling, there's always these silent assassin characters, the guys who are just naturally cool, and slowly, whether it's creative or booking, they just turn so corny, so corporate, so gimmick heavy, that they lose everything that made them authentic in the first place. For Batista, this was never the case. In Evolution, he was recruited to be the enforcer, and he was always aware of his surroundings. He was smart, he was tactical, and he knew the game that Triple H was playing. So he won the 2005 Royal Rumble, and he slowly got wind of Triple H's plan to get him over to SmackDown. We get to that fateful day in February of 2005. It was decision day for Batista. What would be his next chapter? Unlike Kevin Durant, Batista didn't become a meme. Instead, he and this moment became iconic. Batista broke free from Triple H, gave him the thumbs up, thumbs down, grabbed Triple H by his Ronald McDonald head, put him through the table, and he said he was staying right here on Raw. And at Mania 21, he was coming for the World Heavyweight Championship. You had to be there to know just how adored Batista was by the fan base. He had a connection with us that was so special, and it was crazy because if you really think about it, at this point he hadn't done much on his own. But someone needed to end the reign of terror, and Batista did it come Mania 21. He got to the final boss, he finished the game, and he became the World Heavyweight Champion. Which, I don't care what anyone says, no one rocked that title like Batista. It was handcrafted to sit on his shoulder or be around his waist. He earned Triple H's respect after beating him in 3 straight pay-per-views, and then he got shipped off to SmackDown, where he went through JBL, he went through Eddie, and he did it all with a swag that you just can't manufacture. And I know what you guys are all waiting for. The theme song and the iconic entrance. When I Walk Alone hit, there was no one who could stay seated. It was like something would overtake your body and you just had to get up. You'd want to jump around like you were in Batista's shoes. You wanted to pretend that you were him shooting a machine gun while pyro was blaring off behind you. The extended in his theme song had all of us yelling at the top of our lungs. You could sit me in front of a screen and I would never get tired of watching Batista enter an arena. What made Batista so cool was how natural he made everything look. His moves were so simple, yet so perfect. He was the reason why we were hitting Batista bombs and spine busters on our siblings. The reason why our trampolines and pillows took a beating on a daily basis. Batista made the powerbomb an everyday move in our life. This menace would come out dressing like he had to wrestle at 7, then had a Vogue cover shoot to be at by 8. His fits, beautiful. No one did it like Batista. The striped suits, the turtlenecks, the little goatee, the expensive glasses, everything Batista was, we wanted to be. Every time we get a new SmackDown vs. Raw game, or wrestling game in general, one of the first characters we'd always be was Batista. He was silent and he was just naturally cool. This era where Batista was on SmackDown and Cena was on Raw was iconic. They became the faces of each brand, and then Batista furthered his legacy even more by coming face to face with the legend that was The Undertaker. These two showing that big men can go, and I cannot describe to you how badass this feud truly was. You look at feuds of today, oh shit, you ripped my suit, oh you called me a coward, oh why'd you steal my vitamins? Nope, none of this. These two wanted to prove who was better. Who was more vicious? Who rightfully should have been the face of SmackDown and the world champion? They killed this feud and gave us some amazing matches. And a few years later, come 2009, Batista was completely set off. Trying to kill Rey Mysterio, trying to kill The Undertaker again, screaming about how he's sick and tired of playing the nice guy. By 2010, he was gooning it up for Vince McMahon and he was ready to clash with John Cena at WrestleMania 26. This was the elite part of Batista's game, was that he could work as both a babyface and a ruthless heel. So he was feuding with John Cena and Cena was making a mockery out of him, duct taping him to the ring, throwing him off cars, so much so that Batista quit. He was tired of creative, he was burnt out, and he needed a break. Once he slammed his mic and yelled out, "I quit," I was like, yeah right, he'll be back in 2 weeks. Then 5 weeks passed, then 15 weeks passed, then 55 weeks passed, and he was actually gone. I was heartbroken. One of my favorite wrestlers actually quit. Come to find out that he was doing just fine, training for MMA fights, making movies, but there was such a huge void left in the WWE. And then it was 2014 and this vignette aired.
I'm tired of waiting. I'm back.
It said that the animal will hunt again, and I was so happy. My boy Batista was coming back, and I immediately spammed all of my buddies who stopped watching wrestling, telling them that you will not believe what's about to happen. Batista is coming back. We were all so happy, it felt like we were in a huddle throwing off our gloves after Game 7 of a Stanley Cup final. We were ecstatic. I was so excited, and we were ready for it. He came back, he kissed the ring mat, and everyone was making fun of him.
Take those skinny jeans off. You look like a moron, Batista. I hate you, Batista. I want Daniel Bryan. Fuck you, Batista. Batista, you're overrated.
He entered the Royal Rumble and he won it. It was the opposite of 2005. He got booed out of the building because everyone wanted Daniel Bryan in that match. They became blind to the legend that was returning. So come WrestleMania, it was a triple threat match and they had to turn Batista heel because Daniel Bryan was just so loved by the fans. Batista returned only to tap out to Daniel Bryan in the main event of WrestleMania. So Batista was on his way out, but on his way out, he put over the Shield, he put over Bryan, and he made him look like $1 million. He looked like he hadn't lost a step, and he was still as cool as a blueberry. I had to. And then he waved goodbye again. Came back one final time in 2019, had his retirement match against Triple H, and just like that, short and sweet, it was over. Batista officially retired from the WWE in 2019, and he's been quoted saying that he'd rather go broke than wrestle again. And man, what an amazing career this guy had. It's really hard to describe what made Batista so elite unless you were actually in his presence. Whether you were in the arena or you watched it on TV, there was just such a believability to his character. You didn't think that it was a gimmick, you just thought that the dude actually was like this. What was so crazy about Batista was that he went right to the top. He didn't spend any time in the mid-card, he shot immediately up to the main event, and he stayed there. He never overstayed his welcome, was always there to do what the company needed of him. He was larger than life, just the coolest dude that would show up on your TV. He didn't need a gimmick or catchphrase to be adored by the fans, and he was simply the true definition of an animal. Whether he was in Evolution, killing it on SmackDown, or today on the big screen, Batista will always be one of the greatest of all time.